Hey guys, it's Ivory. Welcome to my channel. So today I am celebrating a milestone of 100 videos. For anyone that's been following me for even just a couple of months, you know I have come a really long way. I remember my first 20 videos, I think, were out of focus. They were super blurry. The lighting was weird. Editing was super choppy. That is not to say that I still don't have lots of room to improve, but I'm just saying that from the time I started to how my videos are now, I can honestly say that for myself, I see a really big improvement, and hopefully you do too. So to celebrate, I wanted to do a full face of products with the budget of $100 because it's my 100th video. Budget of $100. You see what I did there? All of the products except one. Only one product is affordable, and then the rest are from the drugstore. So if you can find it at a Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Target, Rite Aid, Ulta, then I included it. And I also wanted to say that all of the products are not including brushes. I already created a video about my favorite brush kits as well as my favorite individual brushes, and I do demo how to use it. I will link it up here if you're interested, but I just wanted to let you know that all of the products are not including the brushes that I use to apply them with. And with all the products, this is the look that I was able to create. I was asked to do a more simple look for someone that is attending a wedding, so I thought this would be a nice in-between because it is smoky and kind of glamorous, but definitely can be altered depending on your preference. And when you actually see the work that goes into the eyes, you will see that it is actually very easy. But this is the look that I wanted to do today because that person did ask for neutrals, and I love me a neutral look. Nothing has changed in 100 videos. I still say I love neutrals. And I also want to do videos that you guys want to see. So if you ever have any suggestions, or if you see something on Instagram and you're like, ooh, I really like that, I would love you to recreate it, go ahead and tag me in it. I don't mind at all. Before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every Wednesdays and Sundays and post occasional bonus videos throughout the week. And while you're here, be sure to also be following me on my social media. Both my Instagram as well as my Twitter are both _ivorypcherry. And without wasting any more time, let's get right into the tutorial. I'm going to start off with my brows today. For brows, I'm using the Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil. I am using the shade medium brown. I have relatively full brows, and this tip is really good for just filling it in where it's a little bit sparse, but it's not the best in terms of creating hair-like strokes. So if your brows are not as full, I don't think that this is a good pencil for you if you're looking to create like really fine hairs. So I'm just going to use this brow pencil to really outline the end of my brows and just make them look a little bit fuller. I'm not really focusing this product in the front of my brows. And once I filled in my brows, I'm going in with the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, and I'm going to use a flat shader brush and carve out my brows just so that they look more defined. And I'm also going to go ahead and drag the concealer down to my lids and use the concealer to prime my eyes. Once my concealer is down, I'm gonna set it, and it doesn't have to be completely powdered down either. Like a little bit of tackiness is totally fine. For the eyes, I'm going in with my Beige Cosmetics Ultimate Neutrals palette. If you watched last week's video, you saw that I combined all of my eyeshadows to make a Franken eyeshadow. So all of these marks are because I scraped it into the pan as well. I'm gonna go in with my Farrah 35E brush, and I'm first gonna go in with this vanilla shade, and I'm gonna use that to lightly set my eyes. Next, I'm gonna go in with a fluffy brush. This one is from Beige Cosmetics. It came in a kit. I will link it in the description box below. And I'm gonna go in with this cocoa powder color right here. And I'm gonna start off by stamping most of the pigment down into the outer V and towards the baseline. And then once the pigment is laid down, I'm gonna start blowing it out right away. And I'm diffusing the color as if it's gonna meet with the point of my eyebrow. And once I have diffused a lot of the color and there's basically nothing on the brush, I'm gonna take what's remaining and bring it into the socket of my eye, and I'm going to keep going back and forth so that most of the color is concentrated on the outside and there's just a little hint of it on the inside of the eye. And I'm going to repeat this process a couple of times. And I know for a lot of people, starting off with the eyes can be a little intimidating because when you add foundation, sometimes it's hard to maneuver the foundation around the eyes and not mess up the eye look. I definitely felt that way for a really long time, but it's something you get used to, trust me. At first it feels a little little bit weird, and it does take a little longer to do your foundation because you're avoiding the eye area and you have to be really careful about it. But doing the eyes first has a lot of benefits. One being that if it has fallout, the powders will just land on your skin, and that's really easy to wipe away, versus on your foundation it can disturb the foundation and change the color, and it's harder to remove. And another thing is, depending on how long it takes you to do your eyeshadow, sometimes it takes me like 20 minutes just to do my eyeshadow. If you do your foundation first, that's 20 minutes that is just sitting on top of your skin, and people haven't even seen you in your full face yet. So you're just giving your foundation more time to deteriorate and break up and basically wear down. So now I've gotten accustomed to doing my foundation first because then it's fresher for a longer period of time. So as you can see, I have built it up so it almost looks like two different color browns, but really it's just layering and being really precise about where I'm packing on the pigment. Now that there's basically no shadow left on my brush, I'm gonna take whatever is remaining and I'm gonna bring that and pretty much touch my eyebrow just so that everything has a really nice fade. Next, with the Morphe M224 brush, I am going to spritz it with some water, and going back into the palette, I'm going to use this off-white shadow. It's almost like an eggshell white. I love really bright lid colors, like basically a frosty white. I love the contrast on my eyes. Sometimes with champagnes and coppers, I feel like it can get a little bit lost on my skin tone, but really bright shimmers like this one just really pop on my skin tone and also really opens up the eyes. And with the shadow, I'm only packing this on 2/3 of my eyelid, and I'm not doing a cut crease per se, just because I didn't lay it down with concealer first to get an exact shape. And once I have the shape down, I always go in with my finger, just because I think it makes it look so much brighter than with a brush alone. All right, and then once that is down, I'm gonna go in with a clean brush, and I'm gonna go into this milk chocolate color right here, and I'm gonna use that to deepen out the outer V just a little bit more, because I do like a really smoky outer V. And I'm gonna lay most of the pigment down at the base and then work my way and diffuse it upwards. And then once that is down, I'm gonna go back in with the brush that I used for the off-white color. I'm not adding any more product into it, but I'm gonna blend it into the dark shade just so that there's not just a straight line, like I want a little bit of a fade. And then with a Morphe M410 brush, I'm gonna go into the darkest matte brown that they have in the palette, and I'm gonna use that to tight line my lower lash line, because I am gonna go in with false lashes, and this really helps to cover up the lash band. We're gonna come back to the eyes in a little bit, but I'm gonna move on to my base now. For foundation, I am using the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir. I have very oily and acne prone skin. It is full coverage. It is very long wearing. It has vitamins E, B3, and B5, and it also has SPF 20. I've also seen reviews where people with dry skin have used this and they really love it too. So it seems like it's really accommodating to both skin types, which is why I wanted to use this today, because it's like more universally accepted and liked by everybody. And I'm gonna blend this using my Juno & Co sponge. You guys know this is my favorite way to apply foundation. And I'm not using primer, by the way. I'm not totally sure if primer actually does anything in terms of the longevity of makeup. The primers that I use are always pore minimizing or mattifying, but I'm not totally sure that even though they make my foundation look nice, if they're making my foundation last a shorter amount of time. So I'm not really sure if primer is really necessary, which is why I didn't include it in this video. I don't have all the answers. I'm not a makeup artist. I haven't really tested it out, but on a regular basis, I don't always prime, and I don't see that big of a difference, especially if I have a really good foundation. So yeah, I'm not gonna recommend something that I'm not totally sure you need. I really wanna just provide the essentials in this video. And I have to admit, when I first tried this foundation and I saw that it wasn't a flat matte, I immediately was like, oh God, I don't really want to try this. I will admit, the minute something says that it's not matte or has any luminosity, I don't want it near my skin. And I immediately had a really pessimistic opinion about it. And I was really surprised at the end that it lasted as well as it did, which goes to show that just because something is dewy or luminous, that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not gonna look good or wear well for people with oily skin. I'm gonna go in with concealer now. I am using the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, and I'm gonna apply that to my under eyes, the bridge of my nose, my forehead, and my chin. And I'm gonna use my Morphe sponge to blend it out. I would use my Juno & Co one, but it doesn't have this little point that I need to get under my eyes. And then once everything is blended out, I'm gonna set it with my Coty Airspun. You guys know I love this product. It's all I ever use. It is so cheap. There's so much product. And especially if you don't wear makeup a lot, this will last you a really, really long time. Because I wear makeup pretty often and this still lasted me about 2 years. Okay, while everything is baking, we're gonna move back to the eyes. With an e.l.f. eye crease brush, I'm gonna go back in with the first transition shade that we used. And I'm gonna use that to smoke my lower lash line. And I'm not gonna bring it in all the way. I'm gonna bring it in about halfway, I would say. And I'm gonna use this color and move it all the way to where the upper lash line and the lower lash line connect. And I like a pretty smoky lash line, so this is going down kind of far. If you don't like that, then I would just suggest tightlining your lash line instead. With the Morphe M410 brush, I'm gonna go into the darkest matte brown that is in this palette and get it as close to my waterline as possible. And again, I'm not going all the way in. I'm leaving about 1/3 of the space empty. All right, and then with the fluffy brush that we used to apply the first transition shade, this has no more product on it. I'm gonna just use this to smoke out the lower lash line a little bit more. I'm also gonna bring it up and like do little flicks so that I continue to have that angular cat-like shape. Next, with a Morphe M431 brush, I'm gonna go into this really light champagne color and I'm really lightly gonna apply that to my inner corner just so it's nice and bright. And I'm also gonna apply that to my nose. And then using an e.l.f. eyeliner brush, I'm using the same color that I just used for my inner corner and I'm gonna apply that to my brow bone as well. And this is pretty much the eye look minus the mascara and the lashes and all that other stuff. I just wanted to note that if you are trying to replicate a look that I am doing, you have to take into consideration your own skin tone. If you try these exact same colors and you are much more fair than I am, these colors may look really different on you. This outer V color on anyone that's like very, very fair, like Jeffree Star fair, it may look like you punched yourself in the eye. And on the other end of the spectrum, someone with very fair skin that uses a certain shade to deepen their outer V, it may be my transition shade or it may not show up on my skin type at all. So just be aware that this looks really smoky on me, and if you want to create that type of effect, it may not necessarily mean that you use these exact shades to recreate it. It may be that you can create this similar effect, but you may have to go a little darker or a little bit lighter on the browns depending if you're lighter or darker than me. Moving back into the base, I'm first going in with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and I'm going to really lightly add some dimension to the face. And I'm stopping the bronzer where my eyebrow tail ends. So right here. And I like to move it kind of high because I want a lifted cheekbone. And I don't necessarily want the bronzer to be the same throughout. I like it to be a little bit darker where the temple is, and then once most of the pigment is laid down, then is when I move closer into my cheek. And then for blush, I am going in with the Milani Luminoso. I use this in basically every single one of my tutorials. And you know what's really funny? When I bought this blush, I didn't like this color. I thought it looked weird on me, but I didn't want to return it, so I just kept going with it and it just grew on me. So now I like it, but I didn't feel that way in the beginning. I'm gonna take some translucent powder and carve out my cheekbones. And while that is doing its magic, I'm gonna go in with mascara. I am using the Maybelline Colossal Big Shot Mascara. This is the waterproof version. And I'm gonna use this to coat both my top and bottom lashes. And once my mascara is on, I'm going in with the Ardell Faux Mink Lashes in the style 811. For a while, you know, the Demi Wispies were my favorite, but I wanted to try the Faux Mink to see if there was a difference. I didn't think there was gonna be, but oh my god, the quality of faux mink lashes from Ardell are so much softer and fluffier, and the hairs themselves look a lot more realistic. You'll be able to see and feel the difference right away. All right, and now I'm gonna wipe away the bake. I'm gonna set my brows using the Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. For lips, I am going in with the Covergirl Outlast liquid lipsticks. This is in the shade Ever Ready. This is a two-step process. You first lay down the red and apply it like you would a regular liquid lipstick. And then after a minute or two, it's optional, but then you would go in with the clear tube. It kind of feels like chapstick. This is one of the longest lasting liquid lips that I own. And what's really nice is for me, I like matte lipsticks, but for people that really like a lip gloss but don't like that it wears off the liquid lip underneath, this is a great compromise because it will give a sheen to your lips, but the red underneath is not going to transfer whether you're eating, whether you're drinking. The top layer is going to come off, but the bottom layer will not. So throughout the day, you can reapply that clear tube so that you have a nice glossy sheen, but the red will stay intact. All right, and then lastly, we're gonna set everything in using the Milani Make It Last setting spray. And this is the completed look. Adding up all the products, I did round up. So if it's like $3.99, I'm gonna say it's $4. If something is $2.49, I rounded it up to $2.50. So on that note, everything totaled up to $99.70. So I was pretty damn close. I wanna thank you all again for celebrating this milestone with me. 100 videos has come and go so fast, and I'm really excited about what the next 100 videos has to bring for us. So that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like this video, and also feel free to comment down below what other types of videos you'd like to see from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.